Let me just say it, Pagosa in Southwest Colorado is not for everyone. There are some challenges of living here that you may not be used to in places like Texas, California, Arizona. So I've compiled a list of 10 reasons not to move to Pagosa Springs. Hey there, my name is Matt Martin. I'm a local realtor. If you've ever been curious what it's really like to live in this area, you've come to exactly the right place. If this list actually sounds appealing to you, then you're probably gonna fall in love with this place. All right, let's go. Let's go! Number 10, remoteness. Pagosa Springs is pretty much its own world. It's surrounded by millions of acres of national forest, and its neighbor to the north, Hinsdale County, is the most remote county in the entire lower 48. The closest mid-sized town is Durango, which is over an hour to the west. It does have its own airport, but if you need access to a major airport, it's either a 5-hour drive to Denver or a 3.5-hour drive to Albuquerque. I actually prefer Albuquerque because of how much easier it is to get through security compared to Denver. Plus, you don't have to go over the pass, which means if there's a major snowstorm, the pass often shuts down, which delays travel and shipments of supplies and goods. So if you need quick and easy access to the modern conveniences of life, it can be a little bit more challenging here in Pagosa. On the positive side though, it keeps the crowds away. There's no traffic jams, there's little pollution, and there's little noise other than the occasional barking dog. Number 9, shopping in restaurants. Because Pagosa is so remote, your shopping choices are limited. Our Walmart is one of the smaller ones out there, and there's only 2 other grocery stores here, City Market and Natural Grocers. But if you're looking for something like Target or Target, the nearest one is 2 hours away in Farmington, New Mexico, which means you'll have to rely a little more on Amazon Prime. For those coming from more populated areas, you're probably used to next day delivery or even same day.
Lucky.
But here in Pagosa, it takes usually 4 to 7 days to deliver your packages. As far as restaurants go, there are some great ones here making some delicious food, but choices are limited, which means visiting the same ones on a regular basis, which is kind of good because you get to know the people. And there's not much fast food here, just McDonald's, Subway, and Sonic. But I view this as a positive. Avoiding fast food leads to a healthier lifestyle. You feel better, you look better, and you save more money, which is also true when it comes to shopping here. Before hitting the buy now button on Amazon, maybe you'll think twice if you really need that item. And with the lack of major retailers here, you'll end up supporting more small businesses who are your neighbors and your friends, which is an amazing thing. Number 8, small town. Now, I think there's always something to do in Pagosa. The skiing, the biking, the hiking, the camping, the kayaking, tubing. This place is an outdoor paradise. But if the outdoors aren't your thing, you're probably going to get a little bored here. And if the outdoors aren't your thing, you're probably not even interested in this place. Pagosa is a small town. There's just not a lot to do here if it doesn't involve the outdoors. Now, that's starting to change. We now have axe throwing, a movie theater, and other businesses trying to fill this void. But we definitely lack the options that the suburbs and the cities have. And the nightlife, well, there's not much of it. Downtown can look like a ghost town sometimes after 8 p.m., but chances again are this is why you are interested in this area. You desire the peace and the quiet of a small town where you can see the stars at night. Number 7, Pago slow. It's a different pace of life here. It's much slower compared to where you're likely coming from, which leads to the nickname Pago Slow. There's challenges of living in a more remote area, which means it can take longer to find a repair guy or to get supplies in stock. Restaurants aren't open every day of the week. Lines are longer certain times of the year, and it takes some time for government agencies to respond to any questions or permit requests. Personal experiences. No! Over time, though, you get used to this slower lifestyle, and the stress of the hustle and bustle of the city doesn't belong here. And you find that having to wait a little bit longer to get things done isn't so bad after all. But I can't lie either. Sometimes it can be frustrating when you're so used to these instant gratification from these devices called our phones. I know a lot of this is simply first world problems, but you do need to be more prepared for the slower pace of life and how that can alter your schedule and expectations. Number 6, cell service. Speaking of slow, that's the case when it comes to our cell service in this area. With our topography and vast expanse of land, you're not always going to have the best signal. Driving up to Wolf Creek or even out to Durango, you can be without a signal for half the drive. Now, if you're staying within the downtown or Pagosa Lakes area, you will have a decent connection. But you also have to be aware that during busier times, the networks can get overloaded and the data transfer rates can slow. Internet as a whole can be challenging in some spots, but it's honestly no longer an issue now that Starlink is available, and Pagosa is actively working on providing fiber to downtown and uptown, which should be available to everyone over the next few years. I do want to add this: we didn't move here to stare at a screen. No, we're here to live outside in the mountains, and not being dependent on that phone or computer helps you live the life that you really want to live. Number 5, potholes and gravel roads. We do have a lot of potholes here, and some are gigantic or ginormous. This is due to the nature of living in a winter environment. Potholes tend to develop mostly in the winter with the freezing and thawing of roads. The problem, though, is how long it can take to get the potholes repaired here. Colorado is home to the 3rd lowest property taxes in the nation, and the overall taxation here is lower than states like Texas, which is a huge benefit, right? But it also means lower revenue for our town and county infrastructure. Combine that with our small population but large amount of land mass, it can be very hard to keep our infrastructure up to date. There's not enough gravel pits in the area. Now, this is quite the controversy here depending on your views in politics, but here's how I look at this issue. Yes, we have large potholes and gravel roads, but I'm also saving quite a bit of money in property and sales taxes compared to Texas, and I have off-road vehicles for a reason. I just wish it wasn't to get into the grocery store parking lot. But this all does come down to values, and I can put up with potholes and gravel roads to stare at this kind of beauty every day, which leads to our next point. Mud season. During March, April, May, and even February this year, due to the warmer than usual temps, all that snow we received over the winter melts. It creates ponds and streams all over town and in our backyards. It turns our dirt and gravel roads into muddy messes, and all that mud collects on our cars and ends up in our garages. Mud season is my least favorite time of year. It's a great time to go on vacation, but it's also a break from our tourist seasons. Town is quieter. There's not as many people here. The lines at restaurants are no more, and then it's the start of rafting season, along with the excitement of the upcoming summer, which also happens to be peak season for reason number 3. Number 3, tourism. Pagosa is a tourism town. There's no denying that. Tourism is what provides the economy here, along with many of the jobs and businesses in Pagosa Springs. But with that tourism comes people. The population of town can double during peak weeks. Traffic increases. The shelves at grocery stores empty out. Wait times at restaurants become longer. Powder days get tracked out faster. And Pagosa no longer seems like such a small town. So there's this love-hate relationship with tourism here among the locals. Some despise it. Others see it for what it is, an economic benefit that allows many of us to live this mountain lifestyle, but I say the silent majority here doesn't even give tourism a second thought. They know the tricks on how to navigate it and still find that there's more than plenty of room for everyone to enjoy the peace and quiet of these mountains. Honestly, where you live will determine how much tourism you see. Downtown is definitely busier than uptown, but if you don't go downtown, you'll hardly even notice the amount of tourism. Most neighborhoods really remain quiet, which leads us to number 2, vacation home community. Less than 50% of homes here are occupied full-time by their owners. This means the other half are either second homes, long-term rentals, or short-term rentals. Now, less than 10% of homes here are rented out as STRs for the most part. Some neighborhoods have a little bit more, but they have generated some controversy here. Opponents of STRs will say they contribute to a loss of community, that occupants tend to be louder, they leave lights on, leave trash out, that attracts bears and other animals. But others will say that STRs are really no different than long-term rentals or full-time owners because people are people. But STRs tend to be better kept than LTRs and contribute more money to our local economy. Now here's my own experience. STRs on average are occupied 36% of the time here, so they sit empty most of the year. I've yet to have a single problem arise with any of the STRs near me or their renters, so everyone has been respectful and I've never had a problem with one. But when it comes to community though, due to the number of second homeowners here, I think you're more likely to find community through clubs, organizations, or other entities that share the same interests or beliefs that you do, rather than your own neighborhood. And finally, your number 1 reason why you may not want to move to Pagosa Springs. Number 1, winter. People fall in love with Pagosa because of our amazing summers. They buy a house in the summer, enjoy our incredible transition to fall, and then here comes winter. They're not quite prepared for it. Downtown Pagosa receives on average around 67, 68 inches of snow a year. Uptown can get even more, 100 inches. And with all that snow comes quite a bit of work, especially if you have to shovel your driveway and your porches. And just just when you think you're done, the plow comes by your house and pushes all that snow from the road onto your driveway, causing you to say a few curse words. Damn it! Damn it! And then bust out the shovel once again. Make no mistake, winter is a little bit of work. But with that work comes some amazing opportunities to play in the outdoors. The amazing powder days at Wolf Creek can't be beat. Then there's cross-country skiing, sledding, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, and more. But if you don't enjoy playing in the snow, it can be hard to get through a winter here. Honestly though, it's not as cold here as you would think. Pagosa has over 300 days of sunshine a year, and so long as the sun is out on a winter day, it can actually be quite pleasant. There's been days in January while I'm walking around without a coat because of how warm the sun feels. But once the sun goes down, it does get really cold, often down into the single digits with occasional times below zero. All the more reason to cozy up next to a fire on a cold winter's night. So there you have it. My top 10 reasons to not move here. For some of you, this inspires you even more to make the move. For others, maybe it means just living here in the summer. Either way, let me know in the comments if I got it right, if I got it wrong, or if I missed anything. If you're looking to move out to this area, please reach out. We'd love to help you find the perfect home for you. And as always, if you ever have any question whatsoever about Pagosa or this area, we'd love to help you out. We're proud to be a quality and useful resource, even beyond the world of real estate. So reach out to us and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Till next time, cheers.